Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and we are coming off of 2 days of torrential downpour rain. So today is just kind of gonna be a day in the garden, some maintenance, some different things I need to take care of. We're gonna harvest some blooms. We're going to gather some plants for a project, but just kind of working around the garden, different little things. So I did a video on some of my favorite lesser known garden YouTubers, and I realized that something that I like a lot of them do is they kind of just like do a day in the garden. So it's not like super structured, but they just accomplish multiple tasks. So I was like, oh, I should really try that out. And I do that quite frequently, but I try to always like break everything up into into a very conformed or planned out day. And truthfully, sometimes I just like to come out here and putter around the garden. So let's do that. Let's go putter around the garden. When I worked on this new bed the other day, several of y'all suggested that I use water to really try to settle the soil a little bit. Well, that worked out well with our torrential rains. What I'm going to do right here is I'm going to gather a few things. I need to maneuver a bunch of roses that are struggling. Like here's a Julia Child rose. It got eaten up by something, and so I need to deal with that and get it planted. But I want to gather several roses over here real quick. And I actually already have the holes for these roses. I just haven't taken the time to plant them. But I want to pull them up here so that I'll remind myself that I need to take care of it. There's 5 of them. Going to throw everything that's in this planter in here. It's not doing great anyway, and I'm ready to move on. Do the same thing with this one. Ooh, I think I broke it. It's this one right here, and we're going to dump it in over there, but it's heavy because of the rain. I already did one myself. All right, so just carefully on the edge, and then come underneath. Got it? Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, rearranging that helps out a lot. This area, which I'm going to go ahead and set up all the gladiolas right here. We do need to get this basket hung up today. I went and got new hardware for it. So we're getting a butt view. I always try to be careful regarding that when I'm videoing, but I forget and I bend over. Now these drip lines, now that I've moved the gladiolas, they don't quite reach. So I need to extend this line. So basically what I'm going to do is just come in here, cut it open, and we're going to put in extra line. And go get one more piece. I'll be really happy when the French drains are installed because all this area, the water won't get to this area anymore, which would be awesome. Okay, let me get some extra line. All right, and then that gives me enough line that I can come through and situate this one emitter in the center of each bucket. So far that's been fine, but of course we've had a ton of rain, so that's been helpful. But I might find that I might have to add more emitters later on. It should be fine. Okay, it's nice to move that around because it gives you a little bit more perspective of, you know, where these are and then how much space is actually over here, which is nice. And then the French drain will run right on the edge here all the way across the back. So it should prevent all the water from coming this direction. So you can see how wet it is. And then eventually, I'd love to build like a really pretty like slight bridge going to the back. Eventually I would love it if all of this grass was gone. That would be amazing. Pretty. I have a bunch more bags of mulch coming, and we'll be finishing up that mulch by the end of June. Okay, let's deal with the hanging baskets. This one is getting really kind of leggy, so I'm going to give it a nice pruning, and the same for over there. And then I used to have one right here. It got knocked down by storms weeks ago, so I need to go ahead and reinstall that as well. Let's hope that one holds. All right. Okay, I am going to do some kind of harsh pruning on these petunias just to allow them the opportunity to take a little break before we have our rough summer weather. Oh, that was a mess. Okay. And it definitely looks like it's trying to push new growth anyway right now. So that's exciting. Okay, we're gonna give this guy a little trim back too. And all the trimmings I'm throwing in the empty raised bed that I just did. Just save a little bit of room. Looks like right here the creeping Jenny didn't make it. I had transplanted that. Also going to take out this sunflower. Because it's falling on top of another one. And when I get yucky looking leaves at the base here, I just pull them off. A lot of people are asking what to do about that. Just pull them off. No big deal. All right, let's spend a little time cutting back some Snapdragons. I missed their window for harvesting. So if I go ahead and give them a cut, maybe I'll get some new stuff. Maybe not, it's getting pretty hot for snaps. But I definitely got quite a few from them this year. I was very happy. Looks like I actually have quite a few new blooms coming up too, so that'll be good. It's kind of nice having that right there to just throw stuff in. Now remember, we planted zinnias in here, so those are starting to come up as well. They're starting to peek through the Snapdragon blooms. So this is zinnia, zinnia, zinnia. That's exciting. Okay, so my Don Juan rose has put on a ridiculous amount of growth, which is great, but it really needs to be tied back up in several places. So let's take a little time to do that. Now remember, when we're tying up a climbing rose, we want to help the branches go horizontal. So I secured the biggest stem there, but I'm going to come over and I'm going to take this one this direction. So because about every 4 to 6 inches along these really main canes, it will shoot off new blooms like this. So if all your stalks are just going straight up, it's hard for it to shoot off new blooms. If you've got your stalks horizontally, they'll do much better putting off blooms. This guy is damaged and broken, so we'll just cut him off. Now that I'm looking, we actually have several that were damaged in the wind, so let's take a look at some of those. Just clean some of that up a little bit. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of broken, but this is better. Get it cleaned up. We don't want those like wounded branches because that can create areas for disease. So I got my clematis at the base. Alright. Yeah, it's nice. I can see so many areas where it's pushing new growth. It's very cool. My Casablanca lilies. And when I'm cutting them, I'm leaving about 6 inches of stem at the base. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the little pollen things because they do stain the blooms. Some of these have been damaged a little bit by the storm. They're still really pretty. So leaving about 6 inches of stem at the base so that those leaves can stay on there and continue to feed the bulb. Oh my gosh. These smell amazing. Oh my gosh, they smell so good. Those are beautiful. So excited. Now ideally I would be harvesting them right at about this point, right before they're going to open, but it's been several days of rain, so I just haven't had the opportunity. Okay, and let's harvest some of the chocolate Dara. I think that I will make a little arrangement and take it over to my mom. Oh, well, that was not the one I meant to take. The pollinators are not happy with me because I cut back a bunch of the Dara. But I left a bunch towards the back, like it's fine. But it was starting to encroach on my pathway, so it was time. So pretty. Like a nice little arrangement. And we have a lot of basil. I believe this is cinnamon basil. My mom loves basil. And you want to clip back your basil often so it doesn't get too top heavy. Mine has definitely gotten a little top heavy, but also so that it continues producing. And when you cut it back, you get it to start branching out, which is great. Take a few more pieces. And when I'm cutting it, just cutting above a set of 2 leaves to force it to branch. Kind of at the point where I need to be cutting little bouquets every day. Oh, it smells so good. Super pretty. All right, thinking some liatris, and then we'll be done with our little bouquet. And I have liatris bulbs coming up over here. These are new in this area this year. I've grown them before though. And I mixed them in with the Casablanca lilies with the hopes that they would do just like what you're seeing. And beautiful purple blooms at the same time as the Casablanca lilies. So I am leaving about a foot of greenery at the base so I can continue to feed the bulbs because these are new bulbs this year. These bulbs will continue to get stronger and stronger each year. And over time, they'll flop less the stronger the bulbs get. Those are fun, right? Mixed in with the Casablanca lilies. Okay, I saw one more thing I need to do. I need to put stake up some scabiosa, and then after that I'll sit on the back porch and we'll make a quick sweet little bouquet for my mom. Okay, so I have scabiosa right here. It's called Fata Morgana scabiosa, and it is almost ready to start blooming. And of course it started falling over. Shocker. So I'm gonna come in here, pull what I can up. And lightly tie it to help support it. All right, it's a little bit better. Okay, I almost forgot. I definitely need to harvest some of these lysianthus. Some of them are starting to fall, so I'm gonna harvest the ones that have fallen over first. Actually, that one's completely broken. And the lysianthus are perennial for me, and I grew them from seed. And I add a few more each year. We do need to start a whole bunch of lysianthus for Kristen's new garden. I just haven't gotten around to that yet. All right, one more. And these will give me another round. They'll just be shorter for the second round. I flippin' love lysianthus. If you're in my zone, once you get them going, they are good to go. Some of these plants are 3 years old. All right, let's make a little sweet bouquet for my mom. I've got one of my blue and white salt glaze pitchers here. And I want to be pretty gentle with the lilies, even though some of them are damaged. It'll be really fun to still have. So I'm going to just start. I'm just going to gently put those in my lap. And I'm going to start with a base of basil. Remember, we want to keep the leaves out of the water because that keeps our flowers fresher for longer. So I always like to start with the base of greenery, just easier for my mind to work with that. Okay, and then, where am I? We're gonna nestle in some of these lilies. And the basil acts as like a grid to hold on to the lilies, which is really good. Hold the lilies in place. Now I don't want the lilies to be, I don't know, I think that on this one right here, It has so much damage on the flower. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the flower and leave just the bud at the top, and then that'll be an additional bloom later on. This one looks really good too. Oh yeah, that's super pretty. Okay, let's tuck in some of these Dara. Some of them will keep them a little bit higher. All these pollinators do not want to leave the Dara alone. They love it. All right, next let's tuck in some of the Lysianthus. And I do want these to sit up a little higher as well. Now when arranging with lilies, you have to be very careful because the petals are so fragile. I think I cut my lilies too short, but it's okay. All right, and finally, let's have a few of these Liatras peeking out, just a touch of purple, which is nice because it ties back in with the basil really, really well. Talk about a happy arrangement. It's beautiful. Right. That looks beautiful. I'm really happy with it. All right, you guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's just kind of playing around in the garden, puttering around, little stuff that needed to be done but wasn't like a big, huge deal. And it is nice to just spend time in your garden, just walk through and check things out and see what needs to be trimmed and see what needs to be supported. And yeah, it's feeling really good. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow the channel so much. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.